Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's Fiberific live craft and chat, where we craft and chat live. I had one of those cool, fun weeks where I just did some stuff that needed getting done. So I rearranged. I got a new piece of equipment that did not fit, so I had to pull everything out and make it fit. We've made it fit. It all fits. So I had to rearrange some stuff behind me. So if it looks a little different, although you're probably sitting there going, "Oh, it doesn't look all that different, Chantel." It's because I work really hard to keep the continuity. So let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. You guys know the drill. Welcome, welcome. Lots of chats happening before the live started. Hello to Kathy, good morning to you, and to Sandy as well. And Angela, great to see you here in the live chat. And Freaky Geek is here. Freaky Geek, I saw you comment. When I finally start this, I'm going to be 3 weeks behind. There's a really important factor to remember. You're going to be 3 Chantel weeks behind, not 3 crafting weeks behind. You'll be able to catch up in a heartbeat because I am only working on this during the live streams. So you'll be able to totally catch up. Like I could be halfway through and I could be 3/4 of the way through and people could totally catch up. So don't feel that that anything is, too far gone for you to start. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but I did go back into last week's live chat and I have added in the timestamps for the dice rolls. So if you are wanting to just check what the dice rolls were, you can just hit the timestamps and work those out from there. And I'll do the same today. I have my trusty pen and paper ready to go for the dice rolls. I'm just going to check the chat. Angela is excited for live chat, can see and hear me. Thank you. I was playing a game until I could hear sounds. It's all right. I nearly went live with music playing. Like I had my speaker on in the background there and I was just like, la, 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 la. Oh, wait, I should probably turn that off. Freaky says, I've been spinning and knitting today. That is awesome. Dolores can see and hear me. That is excellent. Sal says, I can surprisingly hear you, Sally. I hope that your ear is going okay. Thank you so much for jumping in. And I hope today you should sit back and put your feet up. And if you want to craft. Just enjoy your time here for as long as you can bear listening. So I suppose we should just really, get into what we're doing. Is anybody currently working on the cowl along with me, just out of curiosity? And while you guys are letting me know that, I've done a thing. I've tried very, very hard to fix the color in this camera. I've tried 2 different mobiles, 2 different other camera, like legit other. I've got 2 other cameras here. I tried those. They can all take photos of the pink. None of them can video the pink. The pink is it's just so vibrant that I've just had to sort of make do as best as we can. So I've tried to make it as clear as possible, even though this color is not right. So what I'm going to do is after each live stream, I'm going to go and pop a photo over on Instagram of where we got up to so you can actually see a truer look of the colors, because it does my head in. I'm looking at this gorgeous hot pink. Over here, it's this crazy, it's a hot pink, but it's the wrong hot pink. Okay, it is wrong, but it's the best that we can do. I've tried really, really hard. I was like to the point where I was going to buy gear to make it so that one of these other cameras could be our hands down camera in the live streams. But it's not going to fix it. It's not going to solve the problem, which probably frustrates me more than anybody else, truth be told. Sal says it does feel better than yesterday. I tried not to sleep on that ear last night. And it's so hard when you're a side sleeper. Oh my gosh, because I'm a side sleeper. And when I had an earache on my left ear over the weekend, and it was not being friendly. I was like, if it still hurts Monday, I'm going to the doctor's, but it didn't. So I'm like, I'll just leave it, right? That's what you do. If it's not still hurting, you just leave it. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Molly has caught up during the week. That is awesome. Freaky says, "Oh, you mean I'm allowed to craft during the week once I buy the pattern?" Yeah, absolutely. And Freaky, you don't have to buy the pattern either. Like Claire has the live tutorial on her YouTube channel. If you can't buy the pattern to because I bought the pattern to support Claire, but you can get all the instructions from the live tutorial. I just like having the piece of like the actual written pattern handy, so that I don't have to jump on computer all the time. That's all. Oh, I'm going to be a bit in and out today. My old girl Possum's very sick and we've got a vet. Oh, I hope Possum's okay. It's horrible when our old pets get sick because you worry so much because it could be so many things. Yeah. Oh, yeah, good point, Freaky. Excellent point. Might be best to sleep on a bed, not an ear. Well done. Boom Tish. We need a boom Tish. Actually, do I have a boom Tish? Hang on a second. There is an audio sound effects thing. There's an audio sound effects thing in this software. Anyway, I'm not going to play with it because I don't want to mess anything around. So I suppose we should get on with it. Claire's got the crochet, Sally's got the crochet pattern there for Claire if you want to go and check that out. Also in the description below, we have links to the company that I bought my special dice from. This is not the special dice, these are special dices. Along with all of these special dices. I bought them all because I could not choose. I couldn't choose so hard, right, that I bought 3 of their $8 mystery packs. That's how hard I couldn't choose. So now it's so now I have the ones that I want, and I've got 3 for alternating for the dice rolls so that we don't have any kind of like, worrying about rolling the same number of imperfections in the dice and all that sort of stuff. Technically there's a 4th, but it's no good for camera. It's not a good color for camera, everybody. Lisby says she's a mini Foxy and she's 18. Oh yeah. Thanks, Sally. I like that. Drum roll from Sally the Boom Tish. Appreciated. Now I tested 17 wonderful months for Sally as a channel member. Thank you, Sally. Still don't get those over here in StreamYard. Funnily enough, when I used Ecamm, I did get all. Oh no. It's not going to matter what sound effects I have because I was on autopilot and set everything up in StreamYard. We're not going to get any of the fun sound effects. That's horrible and annoying. Oh. Grr is what I'm going to say. We're not going to get any sound effects because StreamYard doesn't let me bring in sound effects externally like that, like with the button press. Oh, I'm very, very much made of disappointment. I'm so much made of disappointment. Silly me. Anyway, we'll still get all the graphics and we'll get the visuals. We just won't get we won't get the sounds. You guys, that's right. You guys will just have to make the sound effects today, and next week I'll remember to use the right streaming software so we can get sound effects. Now, because I'm going to crochet. I'm on a main color row, so I'm just going to pop that there. I'm on a main color row, so I'm just going to work across that in pattern. Okay. While we continue to chat, I could just sit here and not do anything because you guys know I can talk under wet cement. But yeah, so I mean, there are options for me to be able to, hardware options for me to be able to do this, but they're not cheap, honestly. It's like I was looking at like even the older model because there's a Rodecaster 2, which is the new U-Butte audio doobie what's it, right? Fancy words. Audio encoder or interface. Focus on what you're doing, Chantel. Good job. And it's even the previous, like the now outdated model is still like $800. And the new model's like $1,000. I'm like, man, for an extra $200, I'll probably just buy the new model, truth be told. But yeah, so that's about the only way, like that or a piece of equipment like that. Sally, I did share it to Facebook this morning. I went and had a little look at about 9:30, and I popped it in. I was doing the rounds on the other socials, so I added it in. So, oh, funny story. I've gone to join this PinCon this morning, right? Only to realize I had botched this and skipped one of these stitches. So instead of the 5 singles that we need at the start, or that I want at the start, I only had 4. So I had to pull out this entire row of the light pink to pull it back so that I could start again. It is definitely a I have to keep an eye on the starts to make sure I've got the right numbers. And I was like, you know, I wish it was at the end where it's easy to fix, but no, it had to be at the start where I had to pull everything out to get to it. So annoying. Lost you in the tech talk? That's all right, Sandy. Basically, there's this huge piece of equipment that would mean I could bring all my sound effects in, no problems whatsoever, make life easy, total control, except it cost $11 billion. So we're not going to get that. So I just have to remember to stream with different software so that I can have my cool sounds. But if we can get somewhere, I'm like hanging, who else is hanging out for us to roll an 8? Because I want to play. Well, I mean, it was more exciting when I had sound effects, honestly. But yeah, I want to play with it. Actually, the other option than buying the U-Butte expensive sound thing is to actually buy another another microphone, which, you know, is not super cheap. And I can get one that's similar quality for this, that's USB. And then I can use the free Rode software. That means I can bring in my audio. But, you know, it doesn't work with this particular microphone, which is Frustration Station. I even sent them an email. Buy die with all sides marked 8. I mean, that's a good idea. Kind of defeats the purpose, but good idea. Up here for thinking. So what have you all been doing over this last week? Let me know in the chat. I have been editing a podcast and doing all things for that. And I have zhuzhed and rearranged my whole office. And I even, shock horror, did a bit of cable management. Now I am in team let it hang cable management. But I do try to make it as organized as possible while it dangles. Yeah. But still technically cable management. And I labeled all my cables. I don't know if you can look. I'll bring one of the labels down to this. So all of my cables have got like a little label on it. Trackpad, USB-C to lightning. So that I know that this cord will work on my little trackpad to charge that little sucker up. But it'll also charge up my phone. So yeah. So all my cables are labeled like that now, because not at all weird. And we had Caffeinated Crafters last Thursday, and we made the executive decision to have a Caffeinated Crafters on the 31st. So it was 2 weeks from last Thursday, so a week from today, because our usual Caffeinated Crafters Day was going to fall on the Thursday before Easter long weekend, which we didn't think was ideal. And then we'll go back to our usual third Thursday after that. Let me have a look here. Bub's in the chat. Hello, Bub. Lisby went up to Noosa for Say Little Hen's 6th birthday party. Oh, that is awesome. That sounds fun. I've been trying to fight a big, huge depressive episode. The chat helps me stave that off. Thank you all. I'm glad that helps. We all have to find the things that help us, you know, it's find your coping mechanisms, find healthy coping mechanisms, because not all coping mechanisms are healthy, and just do the best we can, really. Bub's been crocheting on her Mosaic Bieber blanket. Bieber? I don't know. Bianca is making a seamless sleeveless you do this on purpose, Bianca, I swear. A seamless sleeveless vest by Lorraine Major to match my exploration station shawl and Fiona hat I finished last week. Awesome. You are on fire. Dolores has been crocheting some charity items, and I've started a handspun beanie for my father-in-law's birthday. That is awesome. Yeah, like Elizabeth's saying the same thing here. I find that looking forward to the chat helps me as well. Keeps me focused on something that's, you know, positive in my life. So I like it too. Sal says, what have I been doing? Well, counting down the days till next Tuesday. Oh, and playing games. Fair enough. Fair enough. I haven't had a lot of time to crochet, but I've been spending a lot of time with family and friends. You know what, Holly? Sometimes peopling is a good thing too, you know? Like, especially if they're people that you like. That's always a bonus if you're peopling with the people that you like. I finished test knitting a jumper and started this cowl. Awesome. Yeah, and just so, like I've got it in the description, I do not mind if you go ahead. If you're rolling your own dice and choosing your own numbers and you get ahead, please still post photos. We'll still encourage you in the chat. I won't get it all miffy that I'm so far behind like I did in the Queen, because this is the plan. The Queen, the plan for the Queen was different. The plan for the Queen was I wanted to finish it within the cowl period, which I did not. This one's plan is to do it during the live streams so that we've got something fun that we can do together for a while. Finished. I need younger legs for jumping. Yeah. Angela's got a comment there for Lisby. Finished combing and spinning and plying the fleece I washed last week. Now playing with my new legs and trying to get my head around null binding. I've been working on Mum's 70th prezzies, finished the hand-spun fingerless mittens, started on the socks, and today I'm sewing in the lining into the Mosaic bag that I made for her. Oh, loose set, not legs. I was looking at that thinking, playing with my new legs. Like, I wasn't going to go there because who knows? But anyway, good job. One of my nieces moved to New York last year and she's out visiting and the whole family got together for dinner, which was nice. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. And she's liking New York, I'm assuming. I went to the gym last night, which, you know, is not exciting. But I did not stay as long as I wanted to stay because my brain was being a bit of a cow face, which it does from time to time. But I'm going to go again. It's not going to stop me. I'm just going to go at a different time where there was this group, which in my brain I'm calling them the hyenas, because I'm mean. And yeah, there was 3 of them, and they were youngish. I would say late teens, early 20s, and they just cackled, and it just like Jim's echo. And their cackling just was terrible. And every time I looked up, they were just like, it was doing my head in. So I bailed. I think I worked out for about 40 minutes. So it wasn't a terribly short one, but you know, my daughter was, because Abby came with, because she was, you know, she was my, we jokingly called her my emotional support dog for the adventure. So, yeah, the jokes went downhill from there. Let's just say that. And yeah, but it was, I mean, you know, it was good to get started. And that was the thing. The really hard part for me was to go the first time, and now I'm not scared to go. But I'm not going to go at that time. I'm going to try and find a time where there's a few less people so that I'm less stressed out. Sally said, this may be a silly question and I may have missed it previously, but is there a reason for the different colored dice, or is it just because they are cool and colorful? Being cool and colorful is a bonus, but as I can't remember, it was somebody's husband in the chat last week asked if I was going to be switching the dice between rolls to allow for malformations in the dice, and it was a great idea. So I just roll one dice. I'm not going to roll any of the dice now, because what if I rolled an 8? But basically, I'll take turns. I'll roll each dice. But I mean, I've done some test rolling, and they all rolled up differently. So hopefully there's nothing like that. But we just get to have more dice. You can do it with one, no problems at all. I happen to have 4, but I happen to have 3 that are camera ready. So I'll use 3, but you only need 1. Still knitting the mini leaf lace shawl. I'm a slow knitter, but that's okay. I'm enjoying it. That is awesome. Megan is late. Do you know who else I've noticed is late? Is Leanne here today, or is Leanne not coming? I did notice that the mod chat was going off, so I don't know if I've missed something. But Leanne normally reminds Claire, and Claire's not here, and we were chatting yesterday, and she was like, oh my God, I missed your live last week, and I don't want to miss it again. So I might just send Claire a quick message. We'll just do it right now. I'll just be like, hello. Messenger. Message, Claire. Hello. We are live. If you want to watch and play. Just saying. Send. Oh, there you go. Oh, Leanne is here. Hello, Leanne. I'm just having a quiet one. And yes, I messaged Claire. Okay. Thanks, Leanne. I messaged Claire also. So she'll get the double messaging. But that's okay. That's better than none messagings. She's not looked yet. Okay. All right. She could be off like doing things. Like, having a farm means that she has other work to do. Oh, yeah. I agree with Freaky. The only time you're late for a live is when you see the word replay. Absolutely. If you've made it, you've made it. So, yeah. But we're getting ready. I'm creeping up to the end of the row here. So, Sally, yeah. Anybody who can, message Claire and just let her know. Just for fun. Just, we'll blow up her phone. Make her feel some love. We're not mean at all. Wow. I don't know how. I don't know how I've done it with a sealed cup, because it's got a lid, but I have just splodged myself. Also, I just have to get this photo of Louis while I can, because he's such a gentleman. Let's see. Can I send that somewhere so that we can? Yeah, we can. I'll send it. I'll send it to me, Messenger, to Chantel, because it's the fastest way to get it on the computer. Because Louis looks hilarious. Photo, Louis, send. All right. And then I'll have to open Facebook, because I don't have Facebook open. So bear with me, because it's going to be worth it. All right. Messenger. And download. Download? Did that download? Yes, it downloaded. Okay, so let's close Facebook so we have less problemos. Okay. Back to StreamYard. Okay, and then we want to go over here to this page. See, with Claire, I get her to email me the photos all early so that we can do it good. So this one's going to just pop up in the middle. Now, I haven't censored this, okay? So here's a little boy dog. But that's how Louis is currently laying right now. He's obviously very stressed out that I'm live streaming, and he is not involved. He is just, and that silver thing, that's my spinning wheel. That's my little gem bag. So he's just, the poor thing. However, like, he's obviously poorly treated. So yeah. And he still hasn't moved. He's like, whatever, I don't care. Put my photo on the internet. We've been thinking about ways to set up a Louis cam. I could do it. But, you know, I probably should have done it before. I've got a spare webcam that I can set up so that it points at his little bed there. So, yeah. He's a bit cute. He's a bit cute. He also knows he's a bit cute. So he's also a monster at times. Sometimes he's adorable and so cute and cuddly. And other times he gives you this look like, ha ha ha, I'm going to attack you. Get ready, because here I come. And then he just lunges at you and is just like, jumps all over you and just, you know, it's a game and he's having fun. It doesn't matter if you're not having fun as long as he is. His favorite game at the moment, which I wish he'd darn well stop. Oh, I've totally botched something there. I'm gonna fudge this one. For some reason, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a fifth sneaky one under there. I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna work around it and fix it up because I don't want to deal with that. So we'll never notice it ever again. Kathy wants a Louis mug. Oh, that would be so cute. I'll have to talk to Abby about it. We can set up a Louis merch so that we can get a coffee cup with Louis' face on it. So my question is, if you wanted a Louis mug, right? Would you want like lounging Louis all the way around the cup, or do you just want Louis like we've got a pile of photos of Louis' cheeky face. So you know, let me know which way you'd like to go. If you want the lounging Louis or the Louis' cheeky in attack mode face. Now I'm just going to double check my little, you know, jerry rigger that I've done over here. So, because there's definitely there's 4 there, and now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 there. Good, fixed, done. That's as much as we're doing to fix that. So yes, Louis' face for sure. Yeah, he one or both. That's actually a good point, Sally. I could totally zhuzh it up to have both, so everyone can choose for themselves because they're printed individually. They're printed as they're ordered. It doesn't hurt to have extras. But I don't think I can put a different picture on the front and on the back. But that could be fun too. I will have to look into that. Actually, I could probably edit the graphic so that the graphic has a picture of the front and the back. But anyway, I think the face is the way to go. Abby does these great slow motions of Louis like running through the yard and like jumping over her, like with the camera. So, you know, she's got some cool video. And Louis has his own Instagram page. It's something about Louis and Tibbles, because Tibbles is our cat. And, you know, Abby has renamed the page over the years because it was Snowy, Jazzy and Tibbles, and then it was Snowy and Tibbles, and now it's Louis and Tibbles. So there's all sorts of photos of our petsicles in there. Louis' face for Kathy as well. Yep. Okay. I think the face would be cuter on a cup, truth be told. So yeah, we'll have a play. We're nearly at the end of the row. English, Chantel, it's your first language. Bob, no, we're not encouraging that behavior because all it takes to get that photo is for me to leave a project down because Louis is obsessed with yarn. I think it's why he finds it so comfortable and comforting in the craft room because he's just surrounded by the thing he loves. I've actually noticed that if we're in the kitchen and he wants to lay down somewhere, he'll come in here because it's not too far. You can still hear the hustling and the bustlings of the kitchen. Okay, we're coming up to the end. I know I've said that a couple of times now. Oh, goodness me. So everybody who has started, have you caught up or kept up or gone ahead? I'm very curious to know where everyone's at with their blanket. Louis' face, but in a sheep outfit. I mean, we could probably arrange that. Louis likes clothes. He would look a bit like those the black-nosed valets. Snip, snips. I knew I organized myself and had some handy. Oh, these are horrible. Those ones need the bin. Okay, we've made it to the end of the row and it's time. It's dice roll time. I pressed the button. There we go. Dice roll time. Well, it comes out of my speakers here, so that's interesting. Okay, so let us pick the dice and roll the dice. Holly says, I decided to roll the dice and now I'm on my main color. Awesome. Okay, we got a 6. 6 is Amphibian. Again, see? That's the thing. When we go with the randoms. Alrighty. Amphibian it is. I'm not going to be sad that it wasn't an 8. Oh, I better write down 6. I'll change. All right, I've already done that. Good. Casey. Oh gosh, little man is sick. I hate it when the kids are sick. They never cope well. Yeah, I'm sure it's a 6 and not a 9 because it's an 8-sided dice. 2, 3. I'm just double checking I don't screw this one up again because I've screwed it up on the pink row. So I just want to double check. So I want 5. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now in Claire's pattern, she only has 4 at the beginning and the end. I have opted to add in extras so that when I do my border, I don't have to eat one out of my repeat. I still get to keep my repeat. So that's why I've done it this way. I know not everyone will do it this way, and that is A-okay, because this is why we make our own things, so we can make them our own. So, yes. I've been noticing, in all the shuffling around and things, I must have kicked up some dust that had some old snowy hair in it. I thought everything that had that was sort of sorted, but every now and again. Sorry, Sandy. I understand now. I've decided to not roll. I'm doing mine out of scraps and I need to make sure I have enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Because this blanket is one of those blankets that will be awesome to use up scraps. Like having enough of the main color, that's pretty important. And it's having enough of the main color is important, but you could legit use up scraps for everything else for sure. If there's no line under the number, it looks like a 9, and I does have the odd punny moments. Yes. That's exactly why they put the line under it. Hey, Rebecca Nelson, welcome to the chat. Ruth says, Sandy, I'm like you, not rolling dice, just whatever strikes my mind on the colors. Absolutely. I'm a control freak. So if I tried to do it randomly, it would end up in a pattern. So that's why I'm utilizing the randomness of dice, because I would like it to be random. I think it's going to look awesome random. At some point, we may have to make the decision to, re-roll if we hit a color that we've already used like a lot, for fear of running out of the color. But we would have to get that, like I would literally have to get the amphibian every second dice roll, for me to worry about that, because I have nearly double the amount of these colors than my math says I need. But we all know about my maths, right? So, which reminds me, I do have scales handy because I did want to weigh everything after a row of each. Sorry, my starter's been playing up again, so I just have to concentrate for a second. So yeah, I need to measure it before I start the row, not after, and then after as well, so I can get the right weight. So remind me before I start the next pink one that I want to weigh the main color before I start the main color, so I can get an idea of how much yarn I'm using, so I can sit down later and do a check on my maths, because I did the maths for the quantities on like a swatch, which was just like, okay, so that's, like 1, 2, 3.5 repeats. Well, I think I did it on 4 repeats, but on 4 repeats, that's it, on 4 repeats, and then mathed it out from there, like weighing everything that way. I'd like to see how I go with the actual number of rows, and I should probably double check, because we did have a snafu at the start when I botchified how many stitches to do, and I sat down and I know I recounted and checked, and it was a mess around with the like I had too many extra stitches. Like I had the right number of repeats, but too many extra stitches. And I think it's because I was doing the single crochet row at the start. I didn't need an additional sort of 7 stitches. I only needed like 2. So I removed 5. Freaky said I found Claire's video. I'll watch it after the live. Awesome, Freaky. I had a lot of yarn left over from a baby blanket that I made in November. The main color is parchment, which is not exactly what I would choose, but it's a nice neutral. I was going to go with, because when I first got in my Dirty DK from Maker, I'd actually decided that I was going to do it with the main color of white. And the more I looked at the white, the more I just was not happy with the plan. In saying that, the camera could probably have coped with the white better than what it's coping with this hot pink, or at least so much of this hot pink. But after seeing Kathy's with the main color being that beautiful vibrant purple, I was like, dude, I don't have to have a neutral as my main color. I can have whatever color I want as my main color. So yeah. But we still want some contrast. Rebecca has just ordered some yarn for a shawl cowl that's coming up next month. That sounds exciting and fun. Angeles has just worked through a huge yarn bath for the project I'm working on. Ugh. I mean, I'm not looking forward to some of the yarn baths that I get going forward. Like this amphibian seems to be going okay because we've already used it once, so we didn't have the initial yarn bath. But some of these other colors, there was some serious yarn bathage when I pulled out their middles. So yeah, whoops. We'll see how they go. Sue says, I so want to start Claire's mosaic blanket to crochet along with you, but I'm still working through the spring frost and the fireside. Should I start yet another blanket? Hey, I am not the person to ask. I am not the person to ask. In saying that, I did finish my spring frost. I'm now onto border row 19 out of 22 of my fireside. But because this was my Thursday project, I didn't feel guilty having a couch project. So yeah, I mean, I thought of it probably a bit differently. but I am not the person to talk to. How much more have you got? This is okay, everyone. This is the official. How many more rows have you got left on your spring frost, and how far through your fireside are you? And then we can make actual decisions. Lisby says, I'm quickly learning how much I hate to hand sew. Hand sewing is not my favorite. It's not. In saying that, there are particular like joining methods and stuff I don't mind. But yeah, hand sewing is really I'm very exceptionally terrible. So yes. Exceptionally terrible is an understatement. Oh yeah, have to be bad. Like you can't be good. You can't be good at everything. But yeah, that's one thing that I've just never done well with. So bad. I'm just so bad. So because we're all set up now, we should be able to flow through a few more rows for each live than we did. Like last week, we only got through 3. I'm really hoping that we get through like 3 dice rolls is how I'm counting it. And then, but yeah, it's definitely, here we go. I hate hand sewing too, hence my making seamless where I possibly can. So about 20% of the spring frost and even less of the fireside. I was really hoping you were going to be nearly done with one of them. So my answer is going to be no, but you can watch the replays where I put the dice rolls in if you want to use the same dice rolls as me. And you can start later, and you can still put the photos in the fun zone, and you can still do all the stuff. But it's going to be Guiltcraft. If you start it, you're going to know the others have been put on the back burner. In saying that, if you're not enjoying them, it's really, which one? Nat Power, Queen of the Tea. I made it today. I don't have to work today, so I can relax and watch the whole thing. That is awesome. It's good to see you. I'm sure the one day I'll find a package in my mailbox with a note saying, can you hand sew these for me, please? I mean, it could happen. It could happen. But generally speaking, I'm like craft glue and I'll go sewing machine. So if it can't be sewing machine together, I generally look at how things are constructed, and if it requires hand sewing, I sort of bounce out. I'm like, nope, I'm out. In saying that, I do hand sew the pockets of my handbags closed so that I get a nice, neat internal seam, because I have a friend who's very passionate about making sure that we hand sew our pockets of our bags, and she will check. She looks at your handbag and she knows you've made it. She'll check and then judge you harshly. She'll go, mm-hmm, and like, machine sewed. Anyway, Nat says, you don't need to make a blanket. I'm using the pattern to make a cowl. Oh my gosh, that is fantastic. Absolutely. I mean, I made my tea coat, like my tea rug thing, which I love. I've got to make another one. Like, it's getting serious love and it needs time in the washing machine. Hi, Sue Ellen. I'm trying to listen and develop student case studies. I so need to build one based on a crafter business. How to make that corporate enough, though? Oh, you can make it corporate. Trust me. For sure. Game Widows sends a post back with a bill that needs paying before the work starts. Yeah, that's an excellent point. Angela says, doing join as you go projects always confuses me. I usually just hand sew because it works. So I don't mind joining crochet by hand. I tend to find some fun crochet joins. Like there's some beautiful borders and joins in crochet now that are easier to find. So you don't have to sew you don't have to sew your squares and stuff together if you don't want to. It does change the size, like if the patterns. Are you right there, mister? Guys, I'm just going to pop you on do not disturb, on to be right back, and I'm just going to go and sort something out for Louis. I'll be back. I'm back. All right, we are at the end of the row. Let's just check the chat. Hope we're hydrating. Good point. Hydration time. I did not hydrate. I have, Rebecca has a question. I have a couple of project bags that need some cleaning, but I don't want to destroy the closer. I was thinking hand steaming or hand washing, which way? What sort of closure is it? Is it like a zip or something? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if you can't put, I tend to put things that are a bit delicate inside of a laundry bag and then wash it on a delicate cycle in my washing machine. But it's going to it's going to depend on exactly what the problem is. Maybe post a photo of the bags, or at least the closure of the bags in the fun zone, so we can have a look. Yeah, so everything's okay. Yeah, everything's okay now. So little Louis has been playing this fun game of I refuse to eat the food in my bowl, and then because I'm a small dog, if I skip a meal, if I don't eat, then I'm going to throw up doggy bile everywhere. Then I'll go and eat my food. And he just made that funny noise. Like it wasn't actually a problem yet. But I knew from earlier that he hadn't eaten his breakfast yet. And so I went out and checked, and there were ants in it. So he won't eat it if there's ants in it. So I dumped it and gave him back his dry food and dropped in half a tin of tuna because he can't resist that. So because earlier this week I had to work out how to get doggy bile out of a cream fabric sofa. To say that it's not fun is an understatement. But he's fine. Apparently, it's part of the breed. They get fussy because he is poodle. And we do mostly feed him dry food, so he probably just gets bored. Okay, let me just line up that green so I don't roll on it. Back to the... Oh, hello! Are you a happy boy now? Do you want to come up and say hello? Come here. Come here, cheekiness. Oh, no, he wants to play now. He's like, I've got a belly full of food. I would like to play. I'm not playing. You can come here for scratches. Come here for scratches. Nope. He's stretching. He's going back to bed. He's a happy dog now. Have you guys seen that meme that floats around that's like the happy boy meme where the dog does the trotting? Well, that's Louis now. He's a happy boy. I wonder how much of that food he actually ate. I'm going to go and check. Hang on. You were hungry. You polished it all off. Come here. Come and say hello to everybody. I captured a Louis. He was a hungry dog. He ate everything. It's all clean and empty. So he ate 2 scoops of dog food and half a little can of tuna. Human tuna. Not cat tuna. Although he'd eat cat tuna too. Okay. Get some uncles for the pup. I don't know what that means. Yikes. Yeah, it's not awesome. Yeah, I normally keep Louis' food bowl in a little tray of water, but sometimes Tibbles drinks all the water, and I'm like, dude, can you just drink the water out of the water bowl? Like, out of any of the water bowls? And the cat just looks at me as he just continues to drink the water out of Louis' protection barrier. I have never seen a dog pass up a meal of a hot chook unless it's sick. Yeah, and see, this is the thing. Louis is not sick. He will eat if you offer him something more interesting than his dry food. And we've had him checked, we've had him looked at, so there's no larger issue, except that he's a fussy little fuss pot from Fussy Land. So yeah. Leanne saying hi, replay, Claire. It's like a zipper type, like an old-fashioned coin. You don't think the zipper handle being washed? Like, zips are pretty, like, zips are on jeans and they go on the wash. I don't know. It depends on how delicate it is. But yeah, you can totally steam it if you would prefer. You can go and get it dry cleaned if you want. You've got some options, but I personally am just like into a delicates bag, like a lingerie bag, into the washing machine, gentle cycle, pull it straight out, and then I would probably iron it dry so that it holds its shape and everything. But yeah, it's up to you. Has anyone else got some suggestions? I was just going to watch the thank you. Thanks, Sal. I wonder... I'm just going to check my messages, Claire. It's like, oh my God, what have you done? Yeah, okay. Yep, she's going to catch the replay. So, yeah. I changed... Oh, sorry, Freaky. Because I don't call them aunts, I call them aunts. We have aunts and aunties. We don't have aunts. So the joke didn't work for me. I'm sorry. Yeah, Leanne, hello to all of the replay watchers, not just Claire. So Also, I'm keeping an eye out because we have a new cool feature now, which means I can reply to people's comments in the replays or in my other videos with a little video. So I gave it a little test when Kelly mentioned my StreamYard mug. So I made the little StreamYard video. So I can answer your questions with a little short, a little video. You get notified that you've had a little video response, which I think is such a cool little feature. And I want to play with it more, okay, is what I'm saying. Oh, look, he's all curled up now. He's a happy boy. He's full. He's going to be like, I need to go outside. I wonder how long that'll take. Where are we at for time? Should be all right. You normally need about an hour. Okay. So obviously we're going to roll the dice to see what the next color is going to be, but what would you like the next color to be? Like if I'm like, it's, this number or this color, which color would you be excited about? Oh, reminder, which we're not on that color anymore. We're back onto the main flamingo. Any news? Yes, Sue. So we've recorded the first podcast. I'm editing it. It's nearly ready. It's not quite ready yet. We had some tech problems, so we've had to work through those, but I think we're getting there. So there's a tech problem we weren't expecting. Like, you can expect lots of different tech issues. This was not one of them. And then we've got to book in when we're going to record our next couple. So, yeah. The first one's a bit long, so be prepared. The rest will probably be a bit shorter. So I think at the moment, the first one's just over an hour. It's like an hour and 3 minutes. I don't like when people share shorts on Facebook. They're covered in hashtags, so you can't see the actual video. Yeah, look, there's different ways to do stuff, and that way doesn't work. Oh, Rebecca, that's frustrating, isn't it? When it's just like it has to get washed. I think creating a product that doesn't allow for the fact that it may need to eventually get washed is a bit weird. But I would love to see a photo of it, and then I can judge that a bit better. But it's got to get washed. So I don't think a steam clean is going to do the job when you've got to get through that much stuff. It might get rid of some stuff, but I think a proper wash would be better. But there's ways to do it. There's gentle ways that you could do it. I mean, you can get it under the kitchen sink, like under the tap with flowing water, and gently, suds it up a little bit by hand and gauge it yourself. There's lots of options. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely would want to wash it somehow. Oh, no, you're right, Leanne. I totally forgot to weigh the pink. Oh, cancel. Oops. Software's trying to reload the page, and that would dump me out of the stream. But yeah, it's oh man, totally forgot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the scale so they're right in front of me. So they are ready to use. And then they remind us all that, is that a bit glary? There we go. I mean, they're a little bit behind. No, they need to be though, because otherwise they get the glary. That'll do. Okay, they're there. Yeah, Sally, I think you could probably just hand wash it and just gauge it as you go. I totally forgot. Dang it. We'll get there. I only need to measure a few rows. So, because I want to be able to write really good notes for everybody, so that if they, they can work out the meterage that they're using. That's a good idea, Freaky. Weigh it. I'll weigh it straight away. after this row is done, so that can be the before weight for the next row. Good job. Yeah, we're still a ways off from the end. Because I have, what arrived the other day was another 5 balls of this pink, of the Flamingo. Does anyone want to finish this hand sew? Lisby, what are you hand sewing? Is it fabric or is it crochet or knitting, or like, what are you hand sewing? We need details before anybody's going to say yes. Because if you're like hand sewing a dress or something, it's like, hell no. A girl I went to school with hand sewed a dress just because she wanted to see if she could do it. She could do it. She's a phenomenal hand sewer. I was just like, dude, I would not be able to. And she wore the dress. And she used to wear it all the time. It survived being washed in the machine and everything. I'm just like, dude, that probably would have fallen off my body the first time I tried to wear it. It's basically a fabric lining into my crochet bag. So did you machine sew the sides of the fabric and you're just hand sewing it to the crochet? Or have you hand sewn the entire lining? Just for clarity. Because I did a really nice bag for a swap where I had to hand sew the fabric lining. It wasn't awesome fun. But I machine sewed the actual lining, but then just hand sewed it in. Oh, okay. So, I mean, it's not a terrible task. I'm still saying no. It's machine sewed everything except for lining it to the bag. That's still a no from me. Anybody else? Anybody else? Lisby's in Brisbane-ish area. So, locals. Anyone want to do it? You could bring it to Caffeinated Crafters next time and we could all do bits of it for you so none of us feel like we've done it all. No sauce. Sally's out. Sally says no. We could run a poll. Let's run a poll. Plus, it's start a poll. Do you want to do Lisby's hand sewing? Yes or no? Yes and no. Ask the community. There we go. We can run a straight up poll. There you go. Everybody can vote. I'm voting no. So I don't get to vote. Oh, yes, I do. Excellent. Someone said yes. I'm looking. Someone has said yes. You may be able to palm it off yet. Did I vote fast enough? I don't know. Oh, Lisby voted no. Oh dear. Oh. Freaky Lisby may be willing to pay for that shipping. Like, she may hate it so much, she might be willing to ship it to Canada to get it sewn in. Who knows? Oh dear. So how I've made it so the camera can at least see the stitches is I've really dulled down the saturation of the colors, which unfortunately means it's dulled all of the color saturation. So I'm just going to bring that up to usual just for a second, just so you can see it. Oh, down, down, down. There's 0. There's 0. So that's how bright the other colors actually are. They really are. That pink's probably a bit softer, but the yellow and the green are both that vibrant. So I'm going to bring it back down again so that we're not blowing the cameras apart. But I will post a photo over onto the Fiberific Instagram page and into the Fiberific Fun Zone under today's chat. And then so you guys can see what I'm talking about, because it's not until you see the excuse me, see the photo of how the pink actually looks until you realize how off the camera is in the color that it's picking up. Look, they're very neon, they're very bright. And the camera's just not coping with that. It can do photos. Like, I've worked out that all of the different cameras can take photos of it, but none of them can video it. So yes, it's definitely one of those things. I'm keeping an eye on the poll. So far I only have the option to end the poll. So far, yeah, most people are saying no. So if you said yes and you're serious, send Lisby a DM. She might be, willing, but she is on a time pinch. So someone local is probably better. The yeses have gone down from 8% down to 7%. I just want to point that out. I'd probably start the hand. Possibly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this week I also caught up on some stuff that I have missed that I've been trying to catch up on. So I caught up on the first few episodes of The Mandalorian, which are adorable, I have to say. I love, love, love. I also caught the next episode of Picard, which I also love a lot. So, yeah. Ruth says it's too far for her. Yeah, Ruth is in the US, so a smidgy dash too far. Look, I'll have it finished very poorly by the end of today's live. Yeah. Yeah, that's the catch, Game Widows, isn't it? It's the postage and the turnaround. Do you know what? I think your mum will appreciate it, even if it's poorly done. My mum appreciates the handbag I made her, even though I have poorly made, a poorly hand-sewn internal pocket. Louis is losing his mind about something out there. I'd say Abby might be on her way home. I'm gonna have to go and stop him. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be back. But we're nearly at the end of a row. Look at this. Be right back, screen. Thank you. Sorry, everybody. Louis just barking at leaves and air and nothing. Good job, Louis. But I do have to check because there's no one else here to check today. And I can't just let him just bark and bark and bark. That's not good. That's not a good way to build neighbor relationships when you know your next door neighbor works from home as well. So, yeah. Okay, now we're going to weigh the pink. Because otherwise I will forget again. It's pretty well guaranteed. Okay. Alrighty. So we finished that row of pink. We're going to weigh the pink first. I need pink. All right. Turn on to scales. I'll bring the chat back. I lost the chat. Chat's gone. Francis is going to go and do stuff. Have an awesome day, Francis. All righty. Does that seem right to anybody else? I'm going to do some other weighing, but that says 146. Oh, the fan's blowing on it. Hang on. I'm going to go 17 just in case. But that just, it feels like a lot. So because that's saying that we've used over 50 grams of that ball already. Well, I mean, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. There could be 10 grams a row, but these ones would have to be under. So that's 54 grams just in the pink. Oh, hang on. And then there's 61 grams. That doesn't feel right. I'm just going to grab a new ball of pink just to weigh one. Okay. Huh. Well, that's only 185 grams. I'm just going to take off the basket just in case. That makes more sense if it's at 150 and it was only 185-ish to start with. Is it touching? That's still 185. She says as she grabs the rest of the yarn to weigh them all. It's easier to weigh it on that. Just make sure I can see. The fan's blowing it. Stop blowing it, fan. Tie it down to 0. That one's 186. $183. 189. That one's closer to the 200 grams. 185. Okay. Well, that's disappointing. But in saying that, it's pretty common. I know that even other Australian yarn companies, big ones that you can buy at Spotlight, when you weigh the actual ball, 50-gram ball was 40 grams. So, okay. So 146 is currently where it's at. So, yeah. Yeah. That's disappointing. I mean, but it does happen. It's pretty common. I just don't like it. It was one of the issues that I had when I was hand dyeing yarn is I always oversupplied in my hand dyed yarn. I made them at least 103 grams. I know that once they've dyed and dried, they sometimes lose some of their weight. So they could drop them down to 101 grams. So, but I did not want to ever supply less than 100 grams. So, and you know what? Bendigo is just as bad. Like, I've bought Bendigo balls that were 200-gram balls that were 185, 189. It's pretty common, but it's nice to know before I start to make sure I've got enough. Okay, so we're going to dice roll. So we've used the green dice. Let's use the yellow one. So dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose our color. Okay. It's off camera, but it's a 3. 3 anemone. We've got some yarn bath to use up, people. I've got to weigh. I want to weigh it. I'm going to weigh yarn bath and all. Exciting things. I'm just going to put it over here and weigh it. 0. Okay. Indigo yarn bath. Okay, so that one's starting out at 186 point. It's really not settling. $186.59 I'm going to go with. So we're going to go purple 186.59. Okay. You go back over there in your little spot. Somewhere is the beginning. There it is. Alrighty. New color number 3, anemone. I did not plan that, FYI. It just I pulled them out of the bag, and that's the number order that they came in. So has anybody else ever bought yarn that was underweight in their ball, or is it just me who gets that lucky joy? Make sure that's out of the way there. Oh, that purple is so nice. And I need to point out that that's all weighed with labels on as well. So the labels are normally around 1.5 grams or thereabouts, depending on the label, but it's normally an extra couple of grams that you have to allow for. Everyone's like digging out their scales. Angela says, I've never weighed my yarn before. Maybe I should start doing it. Maybe. And you know, like they probably trust that people don't weigh their yarn. But, you know, like I need to for this project. I'm trying to work out, you know, my meterage and if I've got enough. I've never thought to see if I got gypped in such a way. I've never weighed the yarn I buy, but I will be now. It's really annoying getting underweight balls of skein. Happens approximately 80% of the time. Yeah, it does. It happens a lot. Yeah, it's an industry-wide issue. And you know what? I can understand like a 5% variance for sure. Maybe even a 7% variance. But yeah. 5% is probably I'm more comfortable with. I have had underweight meterage, which is a bit annoying because the meterage I needed was very precise, and this put me below the meterage needed. Oh, I think I have in the past with Stylecraft DK, and they were a little under. Yep. Whoops. I was trying to take that one down. Yeah, look, it is really very common. A great podcast topic. It could very well be an interesting podcast topic. Yeah. It's even more annoying if the yarn is expensive. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why I made sure that as a hand dyer, my skeins weren't underweight in the skeins that I had the options in. Sometimes the yarn that you buy comes pre-skeined, not on cone. So it's like that's what it comes as. But in saying that, the companies that I ordered from, they were always pretty fine, like for the most part. But yeah, like maybe a gram or 2 off, but never like huge amounts. And then anything that I skeined, like anything that came from a cone, I had total control over. So, but I can tell you right now that people will weigh hand-dyed yarn. They'll make sure that it's right, but then they won't weigh their commercial yarns. So it's like there is a bit of a double standard happening for hand-dyed versus commercial. Yes, my yarn was expensive and hand-dyed, so extra disappointing. Oh, Rebecca says, I can't wait till my yarn gets here. Can't wait to get started on the shawl, the Icelandic yarn. So the shawl should be really warm. It should be amazing and delicious and super toasty. So yeah, it just happens. But it's just like, for me, it's knowledge, right? I don't want to, like, I'm a little disappointed, but I'm like, whatever. But I need the knowledge, because I need to know, do I actually need to go and order another ball of the pink? You know, like, if I'm going to be going every second row, is it chunky pink row? Will I, you know, if I've lost 15 sort of to 20 grams out of every ball, which is only about, like, if you think about it, they are 200-gram balls, so it is only about a 7% loss, or 8%. 8% loss is, yeah, 7 to 8% loss, which is probably not beyond the realms, you know. It just seems a lot, because you're like, hang on a second, I thought I had 200 and I've got 185, so I'm down 15 grams. So yeah, but I just need the information so that we can work out the meterages, so that I can make sure I've got enough of these colors to finish the project. And then I'll put all my notes, I'll add them all to my Ravelry project, which I've not started yet, but once I do start it, I'll let you know so you can go and look at it. Because, you know, I'm trying to be better. I'm not, but Kelly is my my Ravelry brain person, and she is always reminding me that it's not just a place for buying and finding patterns, because I've got finding patterns down pat. Have been using it that way for many years. I think I was like, because on Ravelry you can see what number member you were. I think I'm under the first 20,000 off the top of my head, which sounds like a lot, but when you realize there's millions of accounts, yeah, so it's 15 grams by 6, 90 grams. It's nearly half a ball. Yep. Lisby, I leave the room to put out a doona to dry and you roll a 3. Yeah, I did. I rolled a 3. So yeah, so I've got 6 of the pink right now. So once I have worked out the math redos a bit more, I'll be able to work out if I've got enough. The other catch is I don't really know how much I'm going to need for the border, and I do want it to be pink as well. Or I could do what I did with my queen, which was rainbow on the back and pink on, and, you know, purple on the front. Yeah, Game Widows is right, because that's the thing. Like, they do measure it differently in commercial yarn than they do for hand-dyed. They measure the weight, the meters rather than the weight. So it probably is exactly 333 meters, but the weight could be off. So, yeah. Because they have a few, there's some videos on YouTube that show how commercial yarn is measured, and it's an interesting way to do it. Oh, we're coming up to some Bath. Hello, Bath. There you go. Dealt with that. Just weighed my dirty DK, same as yours. My Aaron and Eve was only a smidge light, 7 grams ish. Cotton and cotton blades was spot on or over the weights. Okay, that's good to know. So it might just be whoever's milling this is not quite told her everything. And that's the other thing. That just makes this an even bulkier yarn. So it is not, we've already worked out it's not a DK, right? So if it's 330 meters per 200 grams, that makes it closer to Red Heart Super Saver, which is basically 300 meters for 204 grams, I think I worked it out to be. So it's much closer to the Red Heart Super Saver. But if this is 300 meters or 330 meters to 186 grams or 187 grams, that makes it even bulkier than Red Heart Super Saver. if the meterage is correct. Kelly says, if you're enjoying the live, hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Kelly. Oh, we should end that poll. I'm sorry that while some people have said yes, the resounding gong of an answer for you, Lisby, is no. Nobody wants to do your hand sewing for you. Just thought I'd make it official. It's official. Molly says if they measure the length and not the weight shouldn't be included. Look, I understand that, but this is one of those things that they've done from the end of time. This is just an industry standard. It's not any one particular mill. It's all of the mills do it this way. But yeah. So, but it's always worth like weighing your yarn. Like just be aware like that it could be a little under the weight you're anticipating. And, you know, to make allowances when you're buying and ordering your yarn, you know, that you may have to go back and order an extra skein or two, just to be safe. We're not going to get through all the bath. Some of the bath's going to have to go back into the shelf. Dang it. I really like it when they become like the when they're like the green one and the orange one, like this number 6 and number 7, where they no longer have bath hanging around them. They've just got their little tail hanging out. It looks so much prettier on my shelf. That's what we're all about, the aesthetics, right? Lisby understands. Lisby understands why nobody wants to do her hand sewing. Sorry, Lisby. If we were better friends, no, I still wouldn't do it. I definitely needed that water. My throat was getting parched. So parched. Oops, I've split that yarn. Hang on a second. There we go. Oh, good. Oh, no, we are friends. We are friends, but I'm not a good enough friend to do your hand sewing for you, was my point. That's me. I'm a mean person. I mean, have you guys not worked that out yet? Oh dear, we are nearly at the end of the poiple, so we'll give it a second measure do, because now the measuring's part of the process in my brain, so we're A-okay. Oh, until I forget, and then it's your fault that I forgot. I'm just saying. Lisby says, I know, look, I wouldn't do hand sewing for you either. See, we're on the same page. We are legit on the same page. Abby's been practicing her suturing and asked if it's the same as hand sewing. And I'm like, no idea. I don't think so. That's a good piece of advice, Caroline. I'm going to go do that. I'll grab a little bowl. I'm going to need a big bowl, actually. I wonder, actually, I've got a big Tupperware tubey thing that these skeins could fit into. Maybe that would be better. Hang on, I'll go and grab one. Tubey thing. It's a water jug that's a square and it's narrow and it's 2 liters. All right, we are at the end of the poiple. I'm just going to de-smush that up a little. De-smushing. De-smushing. That's the fancy term for it now. That's how bad those scissors are. They did not cut that yarn. All right, let me just, I'm going to go and grab a container. And we'll see if that was the problem. Louis at the window again. I see you there, big boy. Okay. We has giant container thing that I make my iced tea in the fridge. Bing. Okay. So I'll bring it here. It's on a softer surface, but I'll bring that there. Tar that off. Now we've got the pink, and that was 146, and I guessed at the 17. It was jumping around between 17 and 20. Okay, so that says, oh, it's still jumping around. Maybe my batteries in my scales are dying. I'm going to grab another set of scales. Dirty old kitchen scales. Okay, so that's 146. That's still jumping around on that one. But it's still 146. We're talking like points of a gram here. We're not talking multiple grams. I don't know if this container is actually the best idea. It's not. I'm going to grab a bowl. I thought this would fit better. Okay. All right, I'm going to slide it off camera just because. Oh, I'm just going to hang on a second. Dice out of the way. I just want to flip the mat out of the way because that could also be an issue. I'm just going to turn off the fan because I actually do know that having a fan blowing at your scales does not help. I take you off. You're going to zero. It's never going to zero. Hang on. All right, that's at 0. That's my yarn. All right. I mean, it's not going to fit in the bowl either, so I can't read it. 146.2. Oh, it's flipping around again. Try not to touch the table. Okay, 146.24. No, it flipped. Okay, it's back to 124. Okay, so instead of 146.17, I got 146.24. So we're talking, and because it was flipping around, I chose the lowest of what it was flipping around to. Now let's see, because these scales might be easier for the bowl. I'll see if we come up with a similar. All right, there we go. We're on 0. This one is not going to help at all. It just says 147. It doesn't do the points of grams, which is why I wasn't using it. Okay, well, we do know the big bowl on there, while it's a bit of a buttocks, it does work. You can turn yourself off because you are not going to be helpful. Okay, so that was 146.24. All right, and then I want to check the purple because we've done the before and the after for the purple now. Oh, is that on 0? Nope. Okay, all right. 181.29. Oops, after a row. 181.29. Okay. Put you over there. I want my little mat back. We now have the working for one row. Now we need to do a pink row and measure do that. Yeah, so you know what? Yeah, it made a very small difference of 0.07 of a gram. I have to put my fan back on. It's too hot in here otherwise. So 0.07 of a gram difference by using a different way to measure do. Okay, we are back on to our main color of Flamingo, which we have already weighed multiple times, it turns out. Okay, Lisby is finished. Do it, Lisby. Fun zone pictures, please, so we can all go and cheer over there. Alrighty, let's go. Oops, there we go. Add that on there. And then we are single crochets because we did the doubles last time, because we alternate our start. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. Oh, how nice does this purple look with the pink over the top? I like those colors together. I'm glad we got to do a purple. I was wondering, purple's probably my favorite. Natalie's asking, how wide will the blanket be? I'm aiming for single bed width and just short, like, because it's a couch throw, but I want it to be wide enough to, you know, be comfortable. But I'm also only want it to be about sort of 1.5 meters long, I think. Hang on, I wrote down exactly the measurements I was aiming for when I did my original math redos. So let's that's headphones. That will help us nothing with our math redos. Do you hear me? Notability. Okay, so it is Math Rocks Crochet Blanket Notes. Okay, so I'm aiming for 160 centimeters by 127 centimeters. So yeah. Oh, I didn't write down our last dice roll. Where's my little notepad? It's because I flipped the page. 3. I'm not meant to be spending money, but I think that blanket with the purple as the main would be lovely. Oh, we know it's lovely because if you have a look in the fun zone, Kathy posted a photo of one of her recent blankets, and it's this blanket with a beautiful deep purple as the main color. We know it works with the purple. That's what inspired me to use something other than the white for my main color, was seeing Kathy's beautiful blanket with the purple as the main. And you can write plans of things that you would like to do without buying the stuff for it. There's no reason to say that you can't write it down and put it into like an ideas list or a wish list. It's also very squishy. It's making a lovely, lovely squishy blanket for this Maker yarn, I have to say. There is, for those of you that are interested in the Maker yarns, there is a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, just for full disclosure. And there's also a link there for the Math Rocks, and Claire has given us a 40% off discount code if you want to buy the printed version of her pattern. The mug rug looks fab in the navy blues. Oh, I agree. Absolutely. The navy blue is the main color with the white and the pops of red. I think it looks fantastic. Oh, Lisby found it. Yeah, isn't it pretty? It's so good. that was my inspiration for this whole shenanigans. So it's Kathy's fault, everybody. Just saying. I'm just throwing her under the bus. This is all Kathy's fault. Back. My wish list is for us to all win the lotto jackpot at least 1.5 times. I mean, that's a pretty decent wish. I appreciate to be included in that wish for sure. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sally, for popping the links into the chat. Appreciate that. And to get the discount code off for Claire's pattern, you just need to make sure you add the code word Fiberific, and it will take 40% off at the checkout. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, look at how nice that's coming up. See, for me, it looks gorgeous. For you guys, yeah, the color is wrong on the camera, and I'm very sorry about that, but I will post some photos later, making sure. We got sidetracked again. I had all these plans of like, oh, we're going to get so many dice rolls done. You know, it's going to be great. We're going to get all these dice rolls done. And then we got sidetracked by Louis and by yarn weights. So, yeah. Kathy's like, I'm happy I could help you. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. Your blankets are inspirational. And it was also the randomness in your blanket as well. Like you had the beautiful purple main color, but not the but also the random color pops, which I was just like, oh man. But I know myself. I know I would end up with some sort of pattern because I can't help myself. Color is better than last week. Yeah, I did do some pretty heavy tweaking and playing and what have you with the color. I'm not 100% happy, but I am definitely happier than last week for sure. Because I mean, at least the stitches are a bit clear. Like it was blowing out. Like it was so glowy that you couldn't see any stitch definition either. So we still have glowy, but at least there's a bit of stitch definition when it's down here. Not too much, but something is better than nothing, right? I'm sure I'll come up with a way to deal with it. There'd have to be something. I don't know. But I used some pretty decent quality cameras and they couldn't cope. They weren't this color camera. Oh my gosh, look at this. Hang on a second. I'm going to do something. Hang on. No, it still doesn't come up as the right color. Very bright. But like this camera is really amazing for colors, and even it doesn't cope. And we do still have to weigh this pink one, don't we? Yes, we do. Have to weigh it after we've done our row. Don't let me forget. I wonder if there is a color out of our collection over there that'll actually tone this down a little. I don't think there is actually. There's so much color. This is going to be you can't hide if you have this blanket on because you are literally a glowing beacon. You're a toasty, toasty, glowing beacon. I cannot wait for it to be cool enough to use a blanket on the couch again. Because at the moment, it's so hot here. Like today's not so bad, but the last few days have been just horrible. I do have the aircon on today just because I'm hanging out here under all the bright lights. I did, Freaky, yes, I did take note of the weight of the last weighing. turn it off. It's using up its very precious battery power. We are getting closer to the end. Yeah, I think I'm probably fussier with the color than you guys are. It's one of those things where I just try to make it like as good as possible for you all. Just don't confuse the numbers from the pink. No, I wrote pink and purple next to their numbers just because I would have gotten confused otherwise. I would be like, which one was for which again? Although the pink should hopefully, like, you know, will likely use up more per row than the purple does. I'm just saying. The purple has no double crochets or trebles, whereas it does. And in my mathing sheet here, I have guesstimated how much yarn per row I require. I'll be very interested to see how close I am. Or not close at all. Yeah, freaky. Sometimes when you know how your own brain works and you make allowances for it, and then other times you're like, I'll totally remember that. I don't need to write it down. And then you're like, oh my God, I should totally have written that thing down. I started using Notability on my iPad so much more lately because I realized how often I was looking for a notepad and then I'd lose the notepad that I wrote the notes in because I have so many notepads. And I'm like, is it this notepad or this notepad or this other notepad over here? Or what did I do with this notepad that I was using that day? So I found I'm giving it a trial just to see if I find my notes easier. I'm trying to label the notes. I'm trying to be organized. I'm trying to change my ways. I'm finishing off projects. I'm being organized with things. So it's like, what the heck happened to Chantel? Frances is back from her mumming. Good job. Okay, we are coming up to the tail end here. Oh, what have I done there? That's another one where I've added in an additional stitch just for good times. So we'll just squish that one out. Pretend I didn't. Let's just pretend I didn't. Does anybody else fudge things like that? Like no one's going to know. They're going to know. No one's going to know. You can label and title the. Yeah, I do. I've got Google Keep Notes as well. I've got both. But I'm enjoying like on Notability, I can actually change. Like I can have it like note paper, and I also have a pen, so I can still handwrite the notes. I don't have to type them in. Whereas on Google Keep, I find I've got to type them in, which is also good, and I still use it. I have so many things in Google Keep. I use all the things. Molly fudges all the time. Awesome, Molly. Angela fudges things. Excellent. Thank you, Angela. Just double checking I'm not alone in the fudgeronies. If it's something that I'm going to look at and I'm going to be able to see like, oh my God, what the heck did I do there? And then why did I not go back and fix it? Then I'll frog that back and fix it. But if it's something like this where I'm going to be looking at it, trying to work out where I made the mistake, because it's just going to sort of smush in, then I don't worry about it. Okay. We will find out how well I just eat fudge myself. Oh, very funny. I actually quite like fudge. I like crumbly fudge. Does that make sense? Like I've had the condensed milk fudge and I've made condensed milk fudge. It's not my favorite. I like I like the other fudge, the one that's not made with the condensed milk. Do you guys have fudge preferences? I like all the fudgy flavors. I haven't come across a fudge flavor that I didn't like. There's like specialty fudge stores up at Mapleton that I go to every now and again. They make the good fudge. Oh, peanut butter fudge. Yes. Hello. Peanut butter or anything, really. I like peanut butter. Not a true project if you haven't fudged it once. Oh, see, that's the thing. I can't make statements like that because there are projects that I will have frogged things back to fix them rather than fudge it. And there are projects where I'm just like, yeah, whatever, that'll do. No one will know. Alrighty, we are at the end of the pink. Snippy, snippy. These scissors are dreadful. After the live stream, these scissors are going in the bin. Okay. Alrighty. Power on with the little bowl on top should make it easier. And let me have a look. I have to read the numbers through the plastic. No, it made it no easier. It's still being a buttocks. Stop being a buttocks. No one likes a buttocks. Okay, all right. What's your problem? Oh, I've got the fan on again, haven't I? Like, what's your problem? The wind's blowing at it so that it's not right. Come here, you. Roll the chair. Okay. All right, that's on 0. In the bowl you go. 138.40. It's flipping between 46 and 47. So 138.47. I'll give it I'll round it up rather than round it down. Okay. That's torturous. Let's never do that again. Alrighty. So we've got to do the mathing. Calculator. 146.24 minus 138.47 equals 777 grams per row of double crochet thingy. No judging. 186.59 minus 181.29. It's 5.3 grams for an SC row. 5.3 grams. Okay. My math is way out. I guesstimated. Where was it? Where's my maths? The single crochet row at 9 grams and the brick row at 10 based off my test. So I overestimated, which I'll take overestimated than underestimated. But I should have enough yarn even with the slightly lighter balls. Woohoo! All right, let's roll the dice for a new color. Roll dice. Dice roll time. Alrighty. Let's go, Dicio. It's a 7. 7 is the duckling. We're back to the yellow again. Duckling. We'll get that joined on. Not a huge fudge fan, too sweet for me. I prefer brownies. Brownies are good too. I agree. Molly says the fudge store at Mapleton is awesome. I still live close by there at Peachester, so it was very tempting. Yeah, that would be really hard for me living that close to both that fudge place and Mulaney cheese. Hello, danger zones. In saying that, I live pretty close to Mount Tambourine, and a lot of the same stores are there as well. I don't go because it's a scary mountain I have to drive up and the road's bad. Stuart makes both the crumblier, the firm fudge. There's a fudge shop. Oh, and the gallery walk. Yeah, I've been up there, but I have not purchased. And I don't go up there very often. Oh, Leanne, hello with the dice. Oh, I should write that down. Dice roll was number 7. 6, 3, and 7. So we had one color different today than last week, but we still had a 6 and a 3. No, a 7 and a 6. That's where I was trying to go. Yeah, I'm looking, Sal. Thank you. Appreciate you keep. I was like, I really want to get at least a third dice roll so that we could at least match last week's. So, but what I might do is so that we can speed it up a little for next week, I'll make sure that we're ready for another dice roll straight away next week. So I will do the rest of this number 6. I will get the next round of pink out of the way, and then I will also, and then I'll be ready for a dice roll straight away. Will you do a crochet border around this blanket? No, yeah, technically. I'm going to be doing the enclosed border like I did for the Queen. So I'm utilizing Tina's pattern for that, so that again I don't have to worry about all these ends, and I can crochet them in. I've allowed like an additional, from the pattern Claire's written doesn't give you the extra single crochet at the beginning, so I've allowed an extra stitch so that I can get a nice clean edge stitch there. I'm not 100% certain what color I will do that in. I very much like the whole use a contrast color for the slip stitching, so that when you do the border the same color, like I'm thinking maybe the yellow or the green or one of these other, like maybe not the pink, it's a bit too tonally close, but one of these other brighter colors as the edging, like for the slip stitching, and then crochet into it using the pink again. I think ultimately if I have enough yarn, that's the way I'm going to go, but it will depend on what colors I have left, and because I would prefer not to buy more of anything than what I have. So yeah. The overestimation gives you wiggle room. Yes, it does. It does. I estimated, obviously because the colors are random, I'm not going to use the same number of rows of each color. So each of these additional colors I'll use varying amounts. But in all the sort of guesstimations that I did, I would require half a ballish of each one. So there'll be plenty of wiggle room in those if one color gets a lot more rolls or what have you. Yeah, I think so too, and that should hopefully speed things along, because I would like to be getting more than 3 dice rolls, because we still haven't had a wild, and I really want a wild. And then next week I would like to have a wild. Also make sure that all the audio tracking is working as well. So we'll see. We will see. But on that note, my friendly friends, there we are there. that is it for today's live stream. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. Pop it into the comments if you're watching on the replay. And I really love spending this time with you guys like every week. And it is one of the highlights of my week, and it is a lockdown point in my calendar. Like, I got invited to do a talk and I'm like, sorry, can't do Thursday mornings. Because this is my place for Thursday mornings. Well, it's my Thursday morning. So I hope you all have a fantastic and wonderful week, and that your yarn arrives for your projects, and that you all have an excellent, excellent time. And I'll catch you all next time. Be good. See you next time.